War in medieval Europe was not just about kings, castles, and knights and shining armor. It was bloody, chaotic, and often shockingly brutal. Today, we're diving into some of the most devastating medieval battles that shaped history, where thousands of men clashed with swords, arrows, and fire, and entire nations were changed forever. Battle 1. The Battle of Hastings in 1066. In 1066, the fate of England was decided at Hastings. William, the Duke of Normandy, crossed the English Channel with thousands of soldiers to claim the English throne. King Harold II stood in his way. The battle raged for an entire day. Norman cavalry repeatedly charged against English shield walls. Arrows rained from the sky, and the battlefield became a sea of blood. By the end, King Harold was dead. Legend says he was struck by an arrow to the eye. The Normans triumphed, forever changing English culture, language, and history. Battle 2. The Battle of Agincourt in 1415. The Hundred Years' War gave us one of the most famous clashes, Agincourt. King Henry V of England, outnumbered and deep in French territory, faced an army 3 times his size. The English longbowmen turned the tide. Muddy terrain slowed down French knights in heavy armor, who were cut down by thousands of arrows. When the French finally reached the English lines, they were exhausted and slaughtered. Some historians estimate that 6,000 French soldiers died that day, compared to only a few hundred English. It was one of the greatest underdog victories in medieval history. Battle 3. The Battle of Grunwald or Tannenberg. In 1410, the Kingdom of Poland and the Grand Duchy of Lithuania faced the Teutonic Knights at Grunwald, also known as the Battle of Tannenberg. It was one of the largest battles of the Middle Ages, with nearly 60,000 men on both sides. The Teutonic Knights, feared crusaders in heavy armor, were overwhelmed by Polish and Lithuanian forces. The battlefield turned into a massacre. Entire units wiped out, the Grand Master of the Teutonic Order killed, and their military power broken forever. Battle 4. The Battle of Legnano. In 1176, the Holy Roman Emperor Frederick Barbarossa sought to crush rebellious Italian city-states. But at Legnano, he faced the Lombard League. Ordinary citizens turned soldiers. The Italians stood behind a massive wagon fort, armed with spears, axes, and crossbows. Against the might of imperial knights, they refused to break. The fight was so fierce that Frederick himself was thrown from his horse and nearly killed. The Lombards won, proving that even peasants and militias could stand against knights in armor. Battle 5. The Siege of Constantinople in 1204. No list of brutal medieval battles is complete with the sack of Constantinople during the Fourth Crusade. Instead of fighting Muslims in the Holy Land, Crusaders turned on the greatest Christian city of the East. For 3 days, Constantinople was looted, churches desecrated, and civilians slaughtered. Priceless treasures of the Byzantine Empire were stolen. The Byzantine Empire never recovered from this blow, and it remains one of the darkest chapters in medieval warfare. Battle 6. The Battle of Crecy in 1346. Another brutal clash in the Hundred Years' War was the Battle of Crecy. Once again, English longbowmen proved devastating. French knights charged again and again, but the arrows cut them down in waves. Even Genoese crossbow mercenaries fighting for the French were slaughtered. By nightfall, thousands of French nobles lay dead on the field. The age of the mounted knight was ending. The longbow had changed warfare forever. Conclusion. Medieval battles were not romantic duels of knights in armor. They were brutal, bloody struggles where entire armies were destroyed and empires rose and fell. From Hastings to Constantinople, these clashes remind us that history was forged not just by kings and treaties, but by the violence of the battlefield. Which of these battles do you think was the most brutal? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the most dramatic moments of history.